the boutique licensee winner. This is actually sort of, to my mind, the heart of managed accounts. This is what managed accounts are all about, and that's been one of the things which we've tried to achieve throughout the awards process, is to recognise the integration of both investment management, portfolio management, and advice. And it's my pleasure to invite Michael Karagianis from JANA, who are central to the strategic wealth managed account story from inception, to join me.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, Michael. Let's talk about the boutique category. Tell us about strategic and their approach to portfolio management and the managed account space.
No, indeed. So just a little bit of history, I guess. Strategic Wealth, I've known for a very long period of time. They were part of the MLC Godfrey Pembroke license many years ago, and made a decision to spin out and basically become I think the first group under the Oriana licensee. I dealt with them within MLC as part of what I call private investment consulting at that point in time. And we were talking about managed accounts back, probably 9-10 years ago. But finally, they got to a point, having gone through that transition process, transitioning platforms, that they really wanted to go down the managed accounts path. And so I joined JANA 6.5 years ago, and they were our first client to come on board. I think maybe the first client for Philo as well. And so there were a number of aspects to that engagement, but really it was a desire to, I guess, tailor a managed account program that made a lot of sense for their clients, and they had a very specific client base, I think, that it suited.
And what is that client base?
Yeah, their client base is a fairly mature book. So they're a mid-sized practice, but the average client size was probably $2 to $3 million thereabouts. Tending towards late working age, transition to retirement. In retirement, a lot of focus on obviously planning and delivering returns for retirement, but wanting to also protect downside risk. And so the portfolios really were designed very closely with the principles of strategic wealth to really achieve that sort of objective for them in a whole range of investment scenarios.
And you mentioned that they went with an MDA rather than SMA. Why do you think that was?
Yeah, I think that when we started the engagement, I think they were pretty sold on the MDA concept, but I think the key tenets of that were that MDAs offered a level of flexibility in terms of product usage, in terms of potentially incorporating illiquid strategies with other more liquid strategies, and the ability to tailor individually for clients where, they might have clients that, wanted some departure from the model for whatever reason. They might have had a grandfathered equity portfolio, or they might have wanted to hold, direct assets in private equity, for example, as opposed to perhaps small listed type variants.
It was interesting, actually. All the finalists in this year's awards coincidentally offered MDA type portfolios. Alvia, Strategic, obviously, Mont, and I've forgotten the fourth of the finalists, but all had demonstrated that. And so in the intervening kind of 5 or 6 years that Strategic has had its managed account operating, have they achieved the sort of flexibility they were looking for, do you think?
Yeah, no, I think so. So some of the interesting aspects I think that are distinguishing about these managed accounts, there is a private equity sleeve. Yep. And we don't run too many managed account programs, and certainly none in the SMA space that have private equity as a building block of the managed account itself. They wanted a direct equity sleeve, Australian equity sleeve, and have managers appointed to manage that. And I think that really helped facilitate it for them. So I think that flexibility expresses itself in a number of ways within the portfolio construct. And obviously, the portfolios have evolved over time as well. There are certain learnings that came with the territory, very early on. For example, one of the things we quickly found that trying to rebalance portfolios when you've got an illiquid component in the portfolio is really chasing your tail. It is quite problematic. And I think it is a lesson for how to manage, less liquid components within managed accounts. So now we don't try and do that. We basically try and ring fence the less liquid parts of the portfolio and allow them to rise and fall and rebalance around them. And that was something that took probably a couple of years to really understand how the portfolios needed to be managed.
One of the things which impressed me in the presentations, because this is a category where a presentation is required, this and innovation, was Adrian Verdotto, who's a principal of strategic, his ability to articulate the way the managed account played, was part of their advice process. How have you seen that working?
No, indeed. Adrian and before him, Peter Wilson, who retired at the end of last year, were very intrinsic to designing these portfolios. And, they wanted to work with JANA as, providing the support and the service to manage them on an ongoing basis. But these are very much an expression of their philosophy and their client base and how they wanted the portfolios to be designed and to be managed. And we've really tried to support that along the way. And, there's been learnings, as I said, as part of that journey. There are things that with retrospect, we might have done a little differently earlier. But I think, what's ended up happening is that the portfolios have done very well and delivered to their specification. And, their client base seems to be very happy with it.
Yep. Look, well, Michael, to you and to the Strategic Wealth team, congratulations on what, to my mind, is one of the most important categories in this whole award process.
Thank you, Toby.